thinking it's time for a new simple outfit series video. So today I'm going to make outfits with a navy blue maxi skirt. This maxi skirt has quickly become one of my very favorite summer pieces, so I'm going to make some outfits with it today and talk a little bit about why I'm choosing the pieces I'm choosing, and if things don't work, kind of why I think they don't work. And I'm just going to work my way through this rack making outfits, all paired back to this really great linen navy blue skirt from the brand Quince. I have mentioned that I had the waistband modified. The original waistband is a rather large, wide, stiffer elastic, and it just wasn't comfortable on my body. It was beautifully made, and I have lots of clients who wear the skirt as is and love it. It just didn't work for me. So I had a seamstress take out the old elastic, put in softer, narrower elastic, and now I absolutely love the skirt and I wear it often. It has pockets, it has a nice modest slit that just makes walking a little easier. It's a nice heavyweight linen and it's navy blue, so it goes with everything in my color palette. Hello, I'm Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. Welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. If you are not familiar with me and my work, I will quickly introduce myself. I'm a style and mindset coach. And what that means is that I can help you create a wardrobe you absolutely love wearing, a wardrobe that is essentially a capsule of pieces that all work together with very little effort on your part and feel authentically like you for the life that you live today. I do that by showing up here, coaching and teaching and sharing outfits. And I also do that inside my one-on-one signature program, which is called Style Therapy. If you are curious about working with me one-on-one, there is a link down below with all the details for Style Therapy, as well as a link to book a sales call. Style Therapy goes deeper than your average style help. I want to help you understand what is happening with your thoughts and your feelings that is keeping you stuck in a wardrobe you don't love, that is making it difficult to shop, difficult to clean out your closet, maybe difficult to keep it organized, hard to pack for travel, hard to know what to wear to a special occasion, hard to know what to wear just for your daily life so that you feel elevated and put together and like yourself, but in an outfit you really adore. Style Therapy is a flexible 3-month program. It is flexible because my clients have busy, fabulous lives. They are often traveling or have commitments that need their attention, and working together every week for 3 months doesn't always fit, so we modify. I am very willing to work with your schedule. I do not want, Kristen, I don't have 3 months in a row where I can commit to this. Not yet. I don't want that to stop you. We can begin the work right away and we can adjust according to your schedule so that it fits in your life, but you're making changes and seeing new results in your wardrobe immediately. Book your sales call today so that we can hop on a Zoom and decide if it's a good fit to work together and you can finally have a wardrobe you absolutely love wearing. Okay, today, as I mentioned, I am going to make outfits with this incredible navy blue skirt from Quince. Doesn't have to be this navy blue skirt. It can be any navy blue skirt. You could absolutely swap out the skirt for navy blue trousers and make very similar outfits. And yet I purposely chose a skirt because it changes kind of the juxtaposition between the pieces. If I had trousers on with these outfits, it would give a very different look. And right now I am enjoying, especially in the summer, kind of the free-flowing, easygoing feeling of a skirt and the cool factor from a weather standpoint. And I like the contrast. I like the fact that a skirt translates differently than trousers against all of the tops that I'm going to share. So just know that if you swap it out for trousers, there might be something you need to do different in order to create kind of the contrast and the tension or the friction, however they say it these days, between the pieces to make the outfit more interesting. And I'll share a little bit more about that as I go. I am going to try to preserve my voice today and not explain maybe as many things as I normally would. I know that will make some people happy and it might disappoint others. And so today I'm going to focus more on outfits than on coaching. And I'm just going to try to talk through the motorcycles and the racing vehicles that are going up and down the road. I hope that it is not distracting while you watch. My apologies. These simple outfit series videos are not intended to make you want to go shopping and buy pieces that look like what's on my rack. I want you to be able to go into your own closet with the inspiration that you gather from me making these outfits and do this for yourself. Find the pieces that you can pair together that have a similar vibe, a similar proportion, a similar silhouette, similar texture. Use this as inspiration, not as a shopping experience. If there are pieces you have questions about, feel free to ask me in the comments. A lot of the pieces I have shared before in thrifting hauls or in Quince hauls, and I am more than happy to give you information on them. The thrifted pieces are thrifted, so I can't always share links for those. The Quince pieces I can usually share. I'm a proud Quince partner, so I'm happy to share those. But just know that I am not trying to get you to buy pieces by sharing these outfits. I am trying to get you to feel curious and inspired and go into your own closet and begin to put things together in new ways so that you can make new combinations and explore whether or not they feel authentic for you. I went to one of my son's bluegrass shows last night, so I figured I would start with part of my bluegrass wardrobe. I did not wear this shirt last night. Supporting live music is important to me. This t-shirt I actually bought on Amazon and I'm thrilled with it. It's 100% cotton. It has washed and worn really well. I cut off the bottom because it was a little longer than I like when I first got it. There is a version from the brand Imogene and Willie that is amazing, and at some point I might splurge on that one, but I decided I didn't really need an $80 t-shirt, that this $25 or less one from Amazon was perfectly fine, and I have been very happy with it. I want to just, as a side note, mention that I am not going to layer on all kinds of jewelry or sunglasses or hats or bags. If you know me and have watched any of my videos, I am a very simple dresser. I like classic pieces in a very tight color palette, and I want the clothing to just kind of work for itself. I don't want to have to hack it or add a whole bunch to make it more interesting. I am fine with the simplicity of the pieces that I wear. If that's not you, feel free to add more things. I will layer on a few pieces just to give you some examples and show you some different options. But for the most part, I'm not going to change each look by adding all of the accessories, because I believe that the outfit should stand on its own, even without sunglasses, even when your handbag is on the floor, even without all the jewelry. I feel like we should be able to build incredible outfits using the garments and the shoes. And then the accessories, if we choose to add them, are a nice bonus, but they're not necessary to look put together. This first outfit is just this little t-shirt and the linen skirt and a pair of black sandals, very old, from Target. If I were going to add something else to this outfit to make it feel a little more finished, I would probably go for a layer, depending on the time of day and the temperature, or I could add a belt. So if I were going to add a layer and I really just wanted the layer for interest and not so much to actually wear it, I would probably tie this old Eileen Fisher kind of almost mesh cotton sweater around my neck, because this adds a little bit more interest, and I like black and navy together. I have absolutely no problem with that. I actually really like it and I often wear it. I know some women it's a deal breaker and they're not interested. That's totally fine. You could make this a navy blue sweater or a cream sweater or a white sweater or a hot pink sweater or some other pop of color. I would just probably keep this very grounded and neutral by adding the black sweater. I am explaining too much, so I'm going to stop that. I would also add this little linen jacket. I think that this gives me a nice finish. It's not too heavy, it's unlined. It feels appropriate for the formality of the outfit, and it gives me that third piece that kind of finishes the look. I could also add just a little chambray shirt. This chambray shirt I thrifted a couple of months ago, and I cropped it and hemmed it. It was much longer. It had shirt tails. It was way too long for my liking, so I just cropped it off and hemmed the bottom. And I have worn it kind of as an open jacket many times since then. I really like the fact that, again, it gives that third piece without adding any real weight. It's nice in air conditioning or as the evening cools off, or in the morning if it's still chilly. I could add this recently thrifted hoodie. Feels kind of beachy and cozy and a little bit more casual than the jacket. I could certainly wear this kind of sage green cardigan. I love this sweater. I recently thrifted this one also. This to me starts to lose the authenticity. It doesn't feel super intentional. It feels like a lot of separate pieces that don't make a whole lot of sense together for me. That doesn't mean I would look at it on someone else and think it's not right. It's just, for me, there's nothing that really ties it together. It doesn't feel super intentional or authentic. This kind of knit lacy detail feels a little bit feminine, and paired back to jeans, I would like that juxtaposition to make it a little less, I don't know, it looks old-fashioned to me. It doesn't feel as modern and as current as I would like it to look. I would probably put jeans on with it or swap out the t-shirt. And this one's kind of the same thing. It doesn't feel intentional. It feels like something's not quite right. I actually like the t-shirt with the little lace jacket. I think that's good. I would probably pair it back again to faded Levi's, and then I could still do the sandals. If I were going to wear the skirt with the jacket, which I actually think is cute, again, I would probably put on a little silk camisole or something that was a little more ladylike to elevate the whole thing. Maybe swap out the shoe for something a little bit dressier. But this, again, just doesn't feel, it's not bad, but it doesn't feel super intentional, and it doesn't feel super authentic. It feels like separate pieces that didn't quite land in an outfit. Okay, this one. This I could do, I would change the shoe. I would probably want this more into early autumn, and I would want a chunkier shoe with it. I would want either a loafer or a little boot so that the weight of the jacket, which is kind of substantial, and the heaviness of the jacket, although it's light in texture, it's sort of a heavy block. I would want the shoe to balance that, and right now it feels a little bit top heavy. But in general, I don't mind all of the navy with the t-shirt underneath it. I would just want a different shoe. I could even do the Converse. Just feels a little more balanced. Blue and white stripes, back to a navy skirt. Certainly one of the easiest happy places in my wheelhouse. I don't even mind it untucked and kind of just slouchy, although I probably would tuck it in. I could absolutely do it just like this. If I wanted to finish it a little bit without adding extra warmth, I could absolutely add a belt. I like it with the Converse. I could also pair it back to a flat. This feels kind of one note. Everything feels kind of the same level of elevation. There's nothing that creates that contrast or that friction. I will mention that these shoes are new for me. It has taken me a very long time to buy new spring shoes now that we are almost at the end of the summer. These are from Vionic. They are my first pair of Vionic shoes, and they come in a narrow, which for me is sometimes important, especially with something as simple as a ballet flat. And so I'm actually really pleased with them. They are comfortable right out of the box. I like the medium brown. I think I will wear them a lot. I tend to right now like a brown shoe more than a black shoe. So I didn't order them in black yet, but I might because they're that comfortable, and I like that they come in a narrow. But this just feels kind of like it's lacking something to make it more interesting. So it's almost like with this look, I want a sweatshirt or something. I want something that's not as elevated as the rest of these pieces are kind of acting. I'm not sure how this is going to work. Just grab this one out of my closet. This is a home sweatshirt. This one might be a little big for this look, but I just want to kind of give you a little too big, but you get the idea. I want to mess it up. I want it to not be so intentional. I want something to feel like, oh, that's interesting. That doesn't look like all the other pieces, the same kind of flavor as all the other pieces. I like that this makes it a little bit unexpected. The big bulky sweatshirt back to the kind of normal ladylike flat and the pretty traditional skirt, I think makes it a little more interesting. I'm not sure I would do this exact sweatshirt with it. I have a couple that aren't quite as oversized, but I think something like a sweatshirt would be a nice alternative. Or it could be like a surf shop, long sleeve surf shop t-shirt, or even a really oversized t-shirt where this striped one is pretty much my traditional size, something that adds a little bit of volume and a little bit of interest and something that's a little bit different. For the sake of argument, I'm grabbing another sweatshirt because now I'm kind of on this skirt sweatshirt kick. This is probably more the size I would do just because it's a little more comfortable on my body with the volume of the skirt. But it adds an element of the sweatshirt is really faded and the bottom's cut off and it's really worn in, and yet the shoe is kind of ladylike and classic and traditional, and the skirt is sort of just rumpled linen but a very traditional shape. So together they make an outfit that's more interesting than if everything kind of is the same tone. Kind of like this. This is one of a pack of men's undershirts from Target, and I wear them to just lounge around in, and I cut off the bottoms of them because they're always very, very long. Although lately in the hot weather, I have been actually wearing them as tank tops, and I really like them. I do not wear a racer back bra, so when I wear one of these, I wear my regular bra, and I am absolutely okay with that. Sometimes it's a nude bra, sometimes it's black, sometimes it's navy, sometimes it's lace. I don't care, it does not matter to me. I recognize that women who have a larger bust and need more support and have a different bra situation, that might not work for, but there are lots of great sleeveless top, tank top options. I just wanted to show this one because since it's a very classic men's ribbed undershirt, it allows for that playfulness of high-low. It gives the undershirt with a pretty skirt and it makes it more interesting. When I add the ballet flat, the tank top feels casual against the rest of the look, so it makes it more interesting to my eye. I could also add the hoodie. Again, the hoodie feels more casual than the ballet flat, so it keeps that balance of different elements instead of making everything feel like it's one flavor. So I tucked in the tank top, and this is just a thrifted linen shirt, again, that I cropped the bottom off of because it was too long and I didn't love the way it looked, so I just hemmed the bottom so that it was straight across. And I have worn this a couple of times also kind of as a jacket, and I really like it. This too feels too much the same. So I would swap out the shoe and make the shoe a little bit different so that it didn't feel quite so balanced. Because the pattern on the shirt is kind of a black and blue, I would probably pair it back to the black sandals. It makes it feel casual and a little bit beachy and summery, and it makes it feel casual and summery and a little bit beachy, and this is right in my wheelhouse. And I could pair it back to a pair of clean white Converse. I have both cream colored Converse that are currently in need of a little bit of cleanup and stark white because I wear so much cream and sometimes wear something that's a little bit brighter white like this tank top, and I wear Converse all the time. So I like to have the option of both colors depending on what the outfit calls for. And I could easily put on this little cropped blue and white stripe sort of poplin shirt. This one I did not shorten. This is from Quince and it came nice and cropped. And I wasn't sure about this shirt when I first got it. And this one too, I have worn as a layer this summer much more than I ever expected I would. I originally stayed away from Oxfords or button-down shirts as a third piece because they didn't feel authentic. And I'm realizing now that the reason they didn't feel authentic was because they were always too long. And I wanted kind of a cropped jacket look. So while this one is a little bit longer than some of the ones I cropped myself, I still believe that it gives that kind of shorter, hip sweet spot, bring the eye up look that I like, where the longer ones just didn't feel authentic because that's not the way I like my tops to fit. So the shorter versions I've been very happy with as kind of a jacket or that third piece. And I could and would absolutely wear these together. I think you can see what happens when your color palette is really cohesive. Everything goes together. So it's not a matter of making outfits. And I have an old video on my kind of controversial take on outfits. I don't believe in making outfits per se because all of my pieces pretty much will make an outfit that works. I just then need to decide, does something feel as authentic? Does it have as much contrast as I want? Is it comfortable? Is it appropriate for where I'm going that day? Does it feel like the version of me I want to show up as? But it's not a matter of my pieces have a hard time going together. On the contrary, my pieces go together really easily, so I'm then able to decide how I want to show up that day because I can really wear a combination of anything in my closet. This is just a sleeveless linen shell from Quince. I have this in red and in white and in this flax color. I have loved this. I love it with jeans. I love it with skirts. I wear it often. So this is the way it looks out, and I actually don't mind it. If I wanted to just be untucked and kind of free-flowing and cool, this would work for me. I usually do kind of front tuck it or side tuck it just to give it a little more interest and to bring the eye up and give myself a waist. I could add jewelry if I wanted to. I have it on with the Converse right now, but I could easily swap it out for a slightly dressier shoe. I could pair it back to the red Mary Jane. It's comfortable, it's effortless, it's cool. And if I wanted to, I can tuck it all the way in and I can wear it kind of as a matching set with this little jacket because they're both from Quince and they're the exact same fabric, same color. So it makes sort of a complete, little bit more elevated outfit. I could add the jewelry, I could add a bag, I could add a belt, I could swap out the shoes, but I like the way the pieces all play together. This one, again, I like the way that the colors work together and I like the slouchiness of the blazer. I would probably swap out the shoe because the shoe, it's fine, but I don't know that it would be my first choice. I would probably put on the cream colored Converse to kind of play up the contrast. And if I wanted to add more contrast, I could put on a strand of pearls just to play with the levels of formality to make the outfit more interesting. I would easily pair the top and the necklace and the jacket back to jeans just as well. And with jeans, I would probably like a dressier shoe versus the Converse because again, I'm playing with the different elements of formality so that there's a nice balance between dressy and casual. Anthropologie for decades has been very good at this. They have that juxtaposition really dialed in of high-low. Way back in the 90s, Sharon Stone famously wore a black Gap mock turtleneck with a beautiful couture ball skirt to the Academy Awards. And it was the beginning of that idea that some of the pieces can be elevated and some of them can be very casual. And when they're paired together right, it makes this beautiful kind of interesting explosion of style that can be very curated to be very personal and very authentic. And that's what we're doing here. And it makes playing with your wardrobe so much more fun because you're not just having one note all the way across. You're allowing your personal style to come through by putting pearls on with Converse or whatever the version of that is for you. So now I have this on with just a thrifted navy blue Uniqlo little sleeveless top. And I could wear it completely out. I actually wore this combination to one of the bluegrass shows in Colorado recently, and I like the way it translated almost into a dress. I did not buy them to go together. They just happen to be a very similar shade of navy blue, and so they work. The top is cotton and the skirt is linen, so they are not exactly the same, but I like the way they create sort of a faux dress. I can add a belt to make this feel a little more finished at the waist if I wanted to. I like it paired back to the sandals. It's super easy and cool and comfortable and makes me feel elevated and put together, but not fussy in any way. Feels kind of like it was inspired by the Ralph Lauren runway show. I recently thrifted this little silk scarf. I could very easily tie it around my waist instead, and I could pair it back to the Converse if I wanted to. The silkiness of the scarf back to sneakers would give more of that contrast. This one. This I recently thrifted to wear with faded Levi's, and I'm very happy with that combination. I can certainly wear it with this skirt. By all rights, this blouse goes with this skirt. There's navy blue in the shirt. It's not that it doesn't match or it doesn't work. What happens when there's a pattern that contains the color that you're wearing on the bottom or the top, if it were reversed, is it can start to look a little matchy-matchy. It can start to lose that sense of contrast because it sort of looks like a very curated brand pairing. I don't want to call out any brands, but like a store where the whole rack kind of all goes together, which in theory is supposed to make getting dressed easier, but then oftentimes you end up with pieces that worked for that season, that the brand kind of created to go together that season. And then the next season, when you need a new piece or when something wears out or it no longer fits, then you're left with, okay, well now I have that blouse that doesn't go with anything because it went with those exact pants or that exact skirt or sweater. And now I don't know how to create the looks, which is why you will see, with the exception of stripes, I include very little pattern in my wardrobe. Scarves and things like that, no problem, because they are a small piece of the overall look and they're easy to interchange and they're often not very expensive. But I don't tend to go towards a lot of pattern because oftentimes when I pair it with something that matches, it then just doesn't feel like me. Some women love that. They want the color in their blouse to match the color of their pants or their skirt, no problem. I tend to like things a little bit more unexpected than that. And so a little bit more unexpected or just a little less matching. I'm fine with solid colors that go together. There's just something different about pulling a color out of a patterned blouse and matching the bottoms to it. This works, and I would probably keep the sneakers on because I want that element of high-low. And if I put on a flat, all of a sudden it looks like a kind of moderately dressy outfit that isn't really elevated and going somewhere dressy, and it isn't really casual to my authenticity, so it doesn't work for me. It doesn't mean it doesn't work for other women, it just doesn't work for me. And I'm sharing this sort of inside my mind, behind the scenes information, because this is what I help clients to see when they look in the mirror. I help them to understand why an outfit feels just kind of flat, why it doesn't wow them versus an outfit that does. There is usually that tension. There's usually that play of contrast that makes an outfit more interesting and makes you feel more like it's your authentic signature look than when it just looks like you picked it off the rack at a store where they intentionally matched those pieces together. If I were to pair this blouse back to a pair of jeans, I would be happy to wear a more formal shoe because all of a sudden I've changed the balance, and the jeans would bring the blouse down a little bit, which is exactly how I intended to wear it and what I will wear it most often with. But I just wanted to show you that while it matches the navy blue skirt, I would need the sneaker in order to kind of balance the outfit. And if I were going to add a layer, though I'm not sure I love the necklines together, it would be something more like this hoodie that again feels more casual, so it changes up the look. I would also be willing to pair it with the red flat because it kind of doesn't make any sense. And I like that idea of that unexpected piece that sort of makes you wonder, is that intentional? Did she get dressed with her eyes closed, or is that her style? And I'm okay with that. I want that curiosity when I consider my outfit. And so paired back to this, yes, everything is similar in formality, but the shoes don't really match. So I like the fact that they sort of throw it off a little bit. Okay, now let's dress it up a little bit. So if I paired the skirt back to this silk camisole, then putting on this little lacy jacket feels very intentional. Feels like possibly I'm headed out to dinner or out to brunch. I'm headed somewhere where I want to be a little bit more elevated head to toe. I could easily pair this back to jeans and would do that very happily, but this feels more like an intentionally elevated outfit versus the live music t-shirt, which just didn't feel like it made sense. And this outfit I could do back to a gold sandal, I could do it back to a gold flat, to this brown flat, to the red flat. I could wear it with sneakers, but then it's not quite going to feel balanced because everything feels a little dressy, and then I've added the sneaker. So I would probably do this I would wear this somewhere a little bit dressier, and I would do it with a shoe that kind of made sense. Feels kind of like a bridal shower. Now the cardigan with the camisole feels a little more intentional. I like the shape of the necklines together better. I like the formality, the slipperiness, and the satininess of the camisole. I like this buttoned up and just untucked, and I would pair it back to a sneaker. Same is true here. I like the fact that this feels a little bit silky and ladylike and shows a little bit more skin. So with this kind of bigger, boxier jacket over top, it feels a little more like there's the right amount of contrast. So this is the same sweater from the beginning. It's an old thrifted Eileen Fisher sweater. I guess it's actually linen and cotton, kind of a meshy knit. And it's not great over a t-shirt because it's a really soft sweater. The neck is kind of wider than most t-shirts. So it works if I have to put it on, if I had it over my shoulders and I get chilly, but it doesn't actually work as well as something like this camisole. If I just put the camisole on under the sweater, then it feels kind of effortless and flowy and very Eileen Fisher in nature and comfortable and soft and summery. And I could still take this off and tie it around my neck. And if I needed to put it on, it actually makes an outfit. And then something like this one, I could choose to finish with an interesting necklace so that there's some drama to a very dark, very simple outfit. And if it were warm, I could take the sweater off and just drape it around my shoulders. Same is true here. The tank top versus a t-shirt just makes the outfit a little bit dressier, a little bit sexier, shows a little more skin. There's a nice play of texture between the two pieces that are linen and the silky tank top. Just feels easy, effortless, and very authentic for me. So I think you can see that while there are some combinations that I've shared that don't feel super authentic for me, they're probably not the way I would wear the pieces in combination. Most of the pieces in my wardrobe work together. I can pull a handful of tops and third pieces and belts and scarves and shoes, and I can play around with them in multiple ways and make outfits. That is not as easy to do when you have more pattern or more color. When your color palette is more dispersed, or when you love more pattern, it can be a little bit more difficult. There are many ways to make a colorful or patterned or both wardrobe feel very effortless. I work with my clients inside Style Therapy to do just that. If they love pattern or they love color or they love colorful patterns, there are ways to make getting dressed effortless and easy. It's just if you don't know those ways, you likely have ended up with a lot of pattern and a lot of color and or a lot of black and not being sure how to pair things together so that they make great outfits. I pulled this skirt. This was thrifted, I believe it was handmade. I pulled this skirt because I wanted to share that while all the colors basically go with this skirt would just be much more difficult to create multiple outfits with in my wardrobe, which is why I usually gravitate towards solid colors because they take the guesswork out. I don't have to wonder, oh, is this gonna feel too messy? Is this gonna be too much? I love this skirt, but I'm much more limited in the ways I can wear it. I usually wear it with chambray or with navy blue or with white, and that's about it. Where I have way more options when I start with a solid colored base, I can play around even with solid colors and make more interesting combinations. And the last thing I'll share is just this thrifted cream sweater. I have lots of thrifted cream sweaters. I love a thrifted cream sweater. So I would wear this really with the Converse, with the red flats, with the black sandals, with the brown sandals. This just feels really easy and effortless. I can certainly leave it untucked. I can front tuck it. If it's cool enough to warrant a sweater, I am oftentimes wearing a kind of chunky cable knit sweater over top of a skirt very happily. Okay, that's it for today. I hope that I've inspired you to go take a look in your closet and pull out a bunch of clothing, lay them on your bed, put them on a rack, put them at one end of your closet, and begin to play with new combinations. Begin to experiment with one base, whether it's a skirt or whether it's trousers, and play around with all the different ways that you can wear it. And when you put an outfit together, evaluate it. What works about this outfit? What doesn't work about this outfit? What could I do differently? That's what I've tried to do here, is really talk through those questions without actually mentioning the questions. I share with you as I talk through the process what works and what doesn't and what I could do differently by putting the outfit on and explaining, well, this just feels a little flat, so I would instead add this, or I would instead wear this shoe. That's exactly what grows your style self-trust when you do it for yourself in your own wardrobe. Begin to play around with the pieces. So often women are afraid to get into their closet and start playing because they feel like something needs to change first. Well, I would need to edit my wardrobe first, or I would need to go shopping and get new pieces first, or I would need to learn something else about style first. But you you learn all that you need to know by going into your own wardrobe and beginning to evaluate the pieces as you pair them with other pieces so that you can collect information before you edit anything out and before you shop for one new piece. You can see what you already have and get really clear on what still feels authentic for you. What do you want to wear and how do you want to pair it? And how can you use your pieces in multiple ways? That's the point of these Simple Outfit series videos. I am not trying to get you to go shop for all the things. What I want you to do is play in your own wardrobe and then learn what gaps are there, what things are missing, and then shop with intention. If you are interested in working one-on-one with me and you would like to learn more about style therapy, there is a link down below with all the details, as well as a link to book your sales call. Style therapy will change the way you feel about your wardrobe and how you feel when you get dressed. And we do that by paying attention to the thoughts and the feelings that are running the show in the background that you might be completely unaware of, not by any fault of your own, just because that's how it works. Our brains get stuck in certain cycles, and when we continue to feel frustrated in our wardrobe, often the reason is because of something that you're thinking and feeling that you might not even be aware of. I help you uncover that so that then we can begin to edit your wardrobe and build the wardrobe that will make getting dressed easy and effortless for you. My goal is to help you understand what's holding you back and to teach you how to manage your mind so that you move past those struggles and any that come up in the future, because once you understand how to manage your mind, you never lose that. And so you might have to remind yourself, oh, right, wait, awareness, I'm noticing that I'm thinking this, and then you can change that. The ultimate goal is to help you create a wardrobe that feels truly effortless for you, does not look like mine, looks like you. It makes it easy for you to get dressed so that you feel authentically like yourself and like you can show up as that best version of you anywhere you go, any occasion, any day, from casual to formal. I'd love to help you see what's possible in your own wardrobe. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to continue watching, I will drop another video right here. I hope you have a really beautiful week, and I'll be back next Friday.